Paula Metzler on Penfield Town Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I've never committed a crime. I will be absolutely clear about what I'm communicating here. I will never go into Penfield Town Court. Do you understand me? You disgusting, repulsive criminal hack. I will never go in there. I'm an innocent man. I've never committed a crime. And the facts and circumstances as to why I've never committed a crime are completely irrelevant to you. Because you and your repulsive predecessor, John P. Lomenzo Jr., and your current repulsive colleague, James P. Mully Jr., are not interested in facts and circumstances that surround any defendant. You're there to pronounce individuals guilty. You're there to pronounce innocent Americans guilty. You're there to destroy lives. You see this? You bald-headed, wig-wearing, repulsive hack? That's a list of salaries at the district attorney's office. My appearances in Penfield Town Court, my 2 appearances, the employee of King of New York A #1 Sandra Dorley's district attorney's office didn't talk. How am I delivered to jail first in Monroe County, next in Livingston County, when the prosecutor doesn't talk? Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. How does that happen in the United States of America? There's total silence from whoever these individuals are on the list of salaries of the district attorney's office. You Paula Metzler can walk through this parking lot without being arrested. Why? Do you have a different civil or constitutional right than I do? You can walk down Bad Road, make a left on Penfield Road, make an immediate left at Sanders Farm Drive, and walk through this parking lot, walk down to Wegmans, Target, Camp's Pizza. You won't be arrested. Why? These psychopaths, Nairaj and Layla Kumar Shah, are going to the sheriff about me walking through a parking lot, but not anybody else. They're not going to the sheriff about my neighbors walking through parking. There's 2 of my neighbors. Every day, people walk through this parking lot. Every single day, people are walking through this parking lot. And what do I have here in my hand is accusatory instruments. These psychopaths that you're in coordination with, that you've talked to about me, concoct crimes for me. You're supposed to be independent, and here you are talking to this Nairaj and Layla Kumar Shah, 50-plus-year-old man living with 70-plus-year-old mother to destroy my life. This is what they came to Penfield Town Court. Accusatory instrument, that's the defendant. I'm a defendant on a piece of paper. Why does this document exist? Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dorley employs the sheriff's office, employs the district attorney's office. How am I defendant on a piece of paper? How does that happen in the United States of America? This is 1984 right here, where I'm a defendant on a piece of paper. I'm an innocent man. I've never committed a crime. And here they are running off to the sheriff by me walking through the parking lot, but not anybody else. Where's my 14th Amendment right? King of New York, A #1 Sandra Dorley. The 14th Amendment, sweetheart, is in the United States Constitution. And you, Sandra, need to read the United States Constitution and tell every one of your employees to read the United States Constitution for the first time. That the defendant on the above date and location approximately 1440 hours to knowingly enter and unlawfully enter upon the premises 2041 Penfield Road, Penfield, New York, by walking to the parking lot after being told by certified mail by police is not allowed of property. This is Shannon Meyer's $67,000 lie. The reason why the sheriff never heard my name is that my dentist, Dr. Gloria Nichols, a wonderful person, was in that building in 2041 Penfield. She see people walk through this parking lot all day long, Dr. Nichols, all day long, every day, all day long. That the fireworks at Harrison Wellen Park that I've talked about numerous times on here in 2019 on June 30th, before the fireworks, Penfield High School band students in their band uniforms will walk through that parking lot. What do the mothers and fathers in Penfield High School think, you bald-headed, party-switching criminal Todd Baxter, if you had a Penfield High School band student in handcuffs for walking through this parking lot? There's a Penfield High School band student with a trumpet or a clarinet in those terrific uniforms that these dedicated kids wear. And there's that Penfield High School student standing there in handcuffs for walking through the parking lot. Does a Penfield High School band student have a different right for walking through this parking lot than I do? And the answer is no. The answer from you bald-headed criminal Todd Baxter, is yes. Tell Shannon Meyer and your other psychopaths to plant their asses right here and arrest people for walking through this parking lot, because people walk through this parking lot every single day, and I'm the only one that these 2 vile, bankrupt human beings, Nairaj and Layla Kumar Shah, running off to you about. Accusatory instrument is such a joke, just delivers me to jail. Paula Metzler, I'll tell the United States Department of Justice that you typed this document that says search warrant. That's not a search warrant. This is not a search warrant. doesn't have an identifying marker. This is ludicrous. This is your criminality, Paula Metzler. This allows Lee LaRoque to get into my residence. You type this document that says search warrant. That is not a search warrant. And she went berserk in it. To any deputy sheriff of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, is that right? You know, when you type your criminal fraudulent documents, you bald-headed, wig-wearing psychopath, Paula Metzler, you should use language that is not so obvious in the identification of this as a fraudulent document that to any deputy sheriff of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. How many deputy sheriffs are there? I didn't even know that that was an official title. Todd Baxter, you bald-headed stooge. How many deputy sheriffs are there at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? And any other police officer in the state of New York? Paula Metzler. Can any police officer from Montauk, New York, the easternmost part of Long Island, to Buffalo, come into my residence? So can any deputy sheriff, however many that are in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and any police officer from Montauk to Buffalo come in? The answer is yes, because you typed this here. Proof by affidavit. Where's that affidavit? Click reply and send it to me. Where's the affidavit that gets Lee LaRoque in here? Any laptops, computer tablets? She exited with my Chromebook because you, Lee LaRoque. I'll read my emails and go into the search history on my Chromebook. This is exactly what you're doing. It's an invasion of my life by you two criminals. This is not a search warrant. Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler that gets psychopath Lee LaRoque and $91,000 in blue gloves. In here, you tore my residence apart. You went through everything in my residence. Everything in here. My father gave me his dresser from when he was a child in Brooklyn. That I look at and I think about my father. The 3 drawers were pulled open on my father's dresser. He went through my father's dresser. Nobody should be in that dresser except for me. Papers that I have photographs of. You pulled out all the papers downstairs on the floor. You went upstairs to the bathroom. You're underneath the sink, looking underneath the sink. Both upstairs in the upstairs bathroom, the downstairs sink. You went in the basement. All the papers I have in folders, every single one of them was thrown all over the floor, 500 plus pages, perhaps even 1,000. I don't know the exact number. And you exited with my Chromebook. What'd you find? You found nothing because you would have concocted another crime. Lee LaRoque and your $91,000 in your blue gloves. How many were in here, Lee LaRoque? It wasn't just you. Is that correct? Lee LaRoque. Were you in here by yourself or was it multiple individuals? And it was multiple individuals. So how many were there? This is your criminality, your disgusting, vile existence, Lee LaRoque and your $91,000. I'm demanding to know if you were in here by yourself or you were in here with multiple individuals, because it had to be multiple individuals. When I was finally released from Livingston County Jail, I ran home in the dark at night. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. I was running home. And before I went into the residence, I knocked on the door of my neighbor, and he's also my friend. I said, I just got back from jail, and I'm going to go in there for the first time. When you go in there, and he came in with me, and he saw what the place looked like. And he even said to me, words to the effect of, what is happening to you? What are they doing to you? How are they in here? And what he saw, what I saw, was this was left behind by you, Lee LaRoque. You left this behind. So you left this behind because this psychopath, Paula Metzler, in blue gloves. You left your blue gloves behind because of her. Paula Metzler. The name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court for John P. Metzler Jr., James P. Miller Jr., and Paula Metzler, dated February 10th. Where is it? Guilty, guilty, guilty. Every single defendant in Penfield Town Court, before your bald head, Paula C. Metzler, before James C. Mully Jr., and before your predecessor, John P. Metzler Jr., is guilty every single time. It's an assembly line of guilt. No one is ever acquitted in your library, courtroom, star chamber. That's what I'll tell the United States Department of Justice. Paula Metzler on February 8th. You received this on February 8th. Two documents. The name, charge, the documentation for the case for Christian charges for John P. Metzler Jr. Penfield Town Court was named in prosecutor, Sandra Dorley. Sandra Dorley, tell me her name. February 8th, you received this. You receive this again in the next 48 hours. Total silence, and I'm delivered to jail. Again, prosecutor doesn't talk before your bald head, Paula Metzler. Documentation for the case for Christopher charges for Paula Metzler in Penfield Town Court was named in prosecutor, Sandra Dorley. Paula Metzler, what happened that day? You know what happened. This 5'2", 3-piece suit boy leaves his podium, walks over to you, gives you a piece of paper. You look at it. That delivers me to Livingston County. Paula Metzler, what am I doing in Livingston County? You'll have to answer that question. When I've lived in Monroe County for 9 years. What was on that piece of paper? I'm going to write a bizarre Freedom of Information Law demand. And it's going to have language to the effect of what was on that small piece of paper that was handed to you by a prosecutor at the district attorney's office that I don't know the language of. Total silence from him. Paula Metzler, when he's standing there in total silence, does it occur to you that I have not committed a crime? When you're looking at me to your left and this 5'2" three-piece suit boy to your right, what is the big brain? What is the corruption inside the big brain and Paula Metzler thinking? Is Paula Metzler thinking he's not talking as you're looking at us? I'm to the left, he's to the right. You can see both of us clearly. When you look to your right like this and look at him, does it occur to you, you disgusting, repulsive, vile, bankrupt criminal, that he's not talking? The answer is no. Paula Metzler, how was I charged with criminal contempt second, harassment second? Paula Metzler, I walk outside one day. I stand here, tell a man is tracked and nobody owns that land. I walk back in my house from Brock Tree and Lawn Care. How's that a crime, Paula Metzler? That's not a crime. That's not criminal contempt second. That's not criminal contempt second. I now go to the Funk PW Fitness. I'm at the back of the gym. Up walks to me Jermaine Benman. He goes like this. I tell him I'll be 30 seconds. He stands over me. He punches down. My head snaps back violently. Benman begins to walk away. I had to make a decision right away not to start a fight with him, which is what I should have done, and that's going to prevent Andrew Reale from showing up and concocting crime for me. So, Paula Metzler, based on what I just told you, with this psychopath Jermaine Benman snapping my head back at the gym, who did I just harass? Who am I harassing, Paula Metzler? Andrew Reale arrives. Andrew Reale knows me because this parking lot that you can walk through, that you can take your wig off and look at, put back on your bald head and continue to walk through. Who did I harass? After my head is snapped back, Andrew Reale arrives. He tells us to wait in the backseat of his vehicle, which we do. Excuse me, which I do. I'm in the backseat because Andrew Reale is talking to Jermaine Benman as I'm in the backseat. I'm looking out the front of the window because he's telling Jermaine Benman the same 7 words to use to me. He walks around to the side of the vehicle after he tells Jermaine Benman what to say. And then Jermaine Benman says to me, I want to press charges against you. And with those 7 words, I'm charged with harassment second. You see it right there. Paula Metzler, what's the name of the human being I'm harassing? Am I harassing Jermaine Benman? Am I harassing Andrew Reale? I can only be harassing 2 people, Jermaine Benman or Andrew Reale. Who am I harassing? Sitting in the back seat of $79,000 Andrew Reale's police vehicle. Sheriff Todd Baxter, a $132,000 salary. What's the name of the human being I'm harassing? King of New York, A#1, Sandra Dorley. The district attorney of hatred at $203,000. What's the name of the human being I'm harassing? Employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. What's the name of the human being I'm harassing? How's it a crime? King of New York, A#1, Sandra Dorley, walk outside and say nobody owns that land next to my residence. How's that a crime? These are appearance tickets of fanaticism and hatred. Paula Metzler needs to be read again to you. Today in charge of sentence of every defendant, Penfield Town Court for John P. Menzo Jr., J.C. Molly Jr., Paula Metzler. I will soon demand from you, Sandra Dorley, and I'm in the process of writing this language. This is what I'm going to demand from you, Sandra Dorley. Financial disclosure statement for District Attorney Sandra Dorley for calendar year 2019. This is what I'll demand from you, Todd Baxter. Financial disclosure statement for Sheriff Todd Baxter for calendar year 2019. This is what I'll demand from you, Paula Metzler. The financial disclosure statement for Penfield Town Judge Paul C. Metzler for calendar year 2019. This is what I'll demand from you, James P. Melly Jr. The financial disclosure statement for Penfield Town Judge James P. Melly Jr. for calendar year 2019. Where's your personal finances? You have conflict of interest as the district attorney and sheriff, respectively, in Monroe County. Where's your money? Paula Metzler, where's your money? James P. Melly Jr., where's your money? And you will refuse. You're public officials supported by the taxpayers in New York, and you will refuse to disclose your personal finances as required under the law. So, Todd Baxter, you're such a joke, a buffoon, and incompetent. What was the discipline for Aaliyah Burden? She escaped from Strong Memorial Hospital. Here, your employees. She escaped to a parking garage. What'd you do? You didn't do anything. You got your employee taking pictures of your employees underwater in a pool. Where was this picture taken? I'm demanding this over and over and over. And you're refusing to disclose. If you expended taxpayer dollars to take that photograph, Todd Baxter, why? Why are you refusing to disclose? You're also refusing to disclose this is Ryan Fisher, your employee in Atlanta, Georgia. What is Ryan Fisher doing in Atlanta, Georgia? I want to see the documentation in your signature where you bought a plane ticket, you bought a hotel room, you bought incidentals for the care and feeding of his dog Lola. Here's your employee, Ryan Fisher, Monroe County Sheriff Office employee, not in Rochester, not in Monroe County, not anywhere in Monroe County, not Penfield, not Fairport, not Webster. Here he is in Atlanta, Georgia. A junket enrages taxpayers, you bald-headed criminal top bastard. And he is Ryan Fisher, Monroe County Sheriff Office employee in Atlanta, Georgia. Was it for one of these pathetic conferences? Did Ryan Fisher go down to Atlanta, Georgia for a conference? We talk about how tough it is to be a police officer. And you don't know what we have to face in the United States of America. And the pressure, the stress of the job. And we drink too much, and even though that's our own fault. And we get a divorce, and even though that's our own fault. And what we have to deal with every single day with these violent criminals. You ever hear that pathetic fucking whining? And I seen you do that, Todd Baxter. Shut up and do your job. Does it occur to you and these other cops doing this whining throughout the United States of America and demanding approval that you decided on this career, that you decided on this job, that you decided on this employment, and there you are with that pathetic whining, demanding approval, and you've done this over and over and over since your bald head was sworn into office. Shut the hell up with that whining, demanding approval, whining about how tough the job is. It's absolutely nauseating to listen to you and your fellow cops there at the Monroe County Sheriff Office demand approval and whine about a job that you decided to do. So I'm waiting for you psychopaths to bang on the door, Todd Baxter. And Sandra, I must say that I've never seen such exquisite beauty that I can stare at in your official portrait here, Sandra. And when I go to the Wegmans Food Market's headquarters of Sheriff Baxter, I only see two of his fanatics alongside the building doing nothing in their vehicles. I'll look at Us and People magazine and I'll think, why aren't you District Attorney Sandra Dorley on the cover of Us and People? So, yeah. When I was demanding the payroll from you, Todd Baxter, you refused. This is in June 15, 2019, over and over and over to this point, I'm demanding the payroll. You refused. This guy, Steve Devin, is the guy, this civilian works for Broccolo Tree and Lawn Care. Isn't that right, Albert and Lori Broccolo? This civilian was used by Shannon Meyer to get you to my residence. Here's Desmond walking along here. Here I am. I come outside. Here's the guy in his tractor. Desmond wants me to come outside. Here he is standing here with his phone in his hand, Elliot Roth, right outside your business. I come out here and say nobody owns that land, walks back in my house. Desmond gets on his phone, calls $67,000 Shannon Meyer. 6 Todd Baxter fanatics, Janet sociopaths here. Shannon Meyer runs to my backyard, crash on her face, pounding on my door. You psychopaths, pounding on my door. I go outside, say, what's the problem? I'm surrounded. Handcuffs go on. How's that a crime, you bald-headed stooge? And the reason why you were here is this guy, Steve Desmond, who refuses to open his mail, called your office because he's in concert with Shannon Meyer. And I said to his face, Elliot Roth, at 2025 Penfield, this weed-whacking, grass-cutting loser, you called the Monroe County Sheriff Office to my residence. I also have been in contact with him where he signed for what I've said here. And he signed for what I said about him. Using a civilian, you bald-headed criminal Todd Baxter, to come to my residence. Elliot Roth, again, you're refusing to open your mail. Elliot Roth, Consumer Insights Certified Mail. Elliot, who told you I was going to be arrested? I'm walking through the parking lot one day, and there you are with that grim Reaper smile. You're going to be arrested. Your exact words. You know I don't know what you're talking about. Elliot, why are you refusing to sign for your mail? Because I'm asking you the same question here in this envelope. Elliot Roth, who told you I was going to be arrested? Was it going to be Shannon Meyer? Michael Radler. Elliot, Michael Radler refused to open your mail. I'm demanding to know in here why you paid $0. A $0 employee. You, Michael Radler, paid money from campaign accounts controlled by Todd Baxter. You pay private money, $0 Michael Radler, to go into Monroe County Sheriff's Office. This is what I will encourage the controller of New York to ask you, Michael Radler. What do you do at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to be paid $0, Michael Radler? Are you, Michael Radler, paid private money from the campaign accounts of Sheriff Todd Baxter to go into work at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Elliot Roth again. John P. Lomenzo Jr. refused to open his mail. Not one word from the prosecutor. I'm demanding from him documentation for how he released accused child rapist Daniel Delouse III in Penfield. Is that right, Junior? You released this guy, Daniel Delouse III, after he was observed on Anatel Lusher trying to entice children into his vehicle. He is arrested, and there are legitimate arrests. You don't recuse yourself, Junior, from his appearance because you know Daniel Glass II. This is the corruption. King of New York, #1, Sandra Dorley, that I have to deal with in New York. This guy, Nate Rush, I'm demanding you prove that you own that land behind my residence, behind these trees. He's refusing. This guy, Nayrod Shah, 50-year-old man living with his mother. I walked my dog. I adopted from Lollipop Farm Humane Society one day, screaming from that guy, Nayrod Shah's little shack over here. I don't know what that is. I bring my little guy in. I walk through the parking lot to talk to him. They already called the sheriff's office to seize my dog. 4,000 times I've been back here. One phone call, and there you are, the bald head of Todd Baxter at my door demanding my little guy. You, Todd Baxter, fail to understand that people in the United States of America love their dogs, Todd Baxter, because what are you fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths doing at my front door demanding my dog? How do you show up to my residence and demand my dog based on one phone call? How does that happen, Todd Baxter? Tell me how that happens in the United States of America where one phone call and here you are at my door. I'd like to know the names of the two employees that were at my residence. So was it Albert Spare? Was it Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Albert Spare, at my front door demanding my dog? Or was it Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Heinrich Himmler at my front door demanding my dog? Todd, baby? You're sending your psychopaths here to demand my little guy when all I'm doing is walking my little guy the same way, 7 years and 4,000 times. This is a sick lunatic fringe. You bald-headed criminal showing up to my residence, demand my little guy when all I'm doing is walking him the same way 7 years and 4,000 times. You with a sick lunatic fringe, you bald-headed criminal, Todd Baxter. I don't know how the hell you exist with decency, character, morality, and integrity. And this is what I was looking for, this check. Why do you think I have this check? I walk down Penfield Road. I withdraw $40 to bring it up to $61.39. I get to the front of Wegmans. 5 of your vehicles, 11 of your employees converge upon me. One of your Monroe County Sheriff Office employees, you bald-headed criminal, exits his vehicle, lowers his shoulder, knocks me down. My head slams against the concrete pavement outside the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans. 10+ witnesses saw your employee do this to me, Todd Baxter. What's his name? I had to go to the MRI tube. That's why I'm showing you this. That's the check for the money out of my pocket. This is the MRI tube right here. Your imaging is normal. I had to get an MRI because your animal, Todd Baxter, attacked me outside the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans. My head slammed against the concrete pavement, and the witnesses are you 10+ Monroe County Sheriff Office employees. What's his name? What's the name of your animal, your employee, your psychopath, your criminal, Todd Baxter, who attacked me outside the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans? What's his name? You need to discipline yourself and you use the language, Todd Baxter. I'm just astonished that you're in office, Monroe County Sheriff. I have a passion for jails. How do you say I have a passion for jails? How does your bald head say I have a passion for jails? The bald head of Todd Baxter confesses he has a passion for jails. And what you're confessing is you love suffering. Disgusting, vile, sick thing to say. Todd Baxter, how the hell do you say I have a passion for jails? How does that language exit your mouth? Discipline yourself in the use of your language. And I adopted my wonderful little guy, my Shih Tzu, in 2012, my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley. And when Laura and I went to Lollipop, one of the questions we were asked is, have you been arrested? You ever had a criminal record? And Laura and I both replied, no. We were interviewed, and it's extensive because I have to guarantee the safety of the dog to ensure that the dog is loved. And he was with me for 8 years. His name is Alex. I changed his name to Boom Boom. He's named after former WBA lightweight champion Ray Mancini because he's a champion. Just the best little guy. Tens of millions of people own dogs and love their dogs because dogs bring joy to your life. You love your dog just like a family member. When I would enter the residence, he'd be sitting there in his dog bed my mom and dad got for me, and his head would pop up and he'd run at me. He'd be so happy to see me. I'd pick him up because he's a Shih Tzu. I put him over my shoulder. I said, I miss you too. And I talked to him. You should talk to your dog. You have to talk to your dog. Only you're there by yourself talking to your dog. Nobody on planet Earth knows that you're talking to your dog. Your dog doesn't know what you're talking about. But you're going to talk to your dog. You love your dog. It's the way dog owners are. So he's just the best little guy. would jump up on the bed when Laura and I would be sleeping. I know it was 3 o'clock in the morning because she would say, get down, and we'd laugh. I have my 500,000 other boring dog stories, but he was with me for 8 years. I was able to adopt him because I passed whatever background check they did. We were screened through the interview, Laura and I, and we adopted him. So here I am walking my dog one day. Bring him alongside this lane here that has no ownership, you bald-headed stooge, Todd Baxter. Along the lane here that also has no ownership. Isn't that right, Ellie Roth? You can see that lane. Elliot, when you look out your window at 2025 Penfield Road, you look over here, does it occur to you that anybody owns that land? Because no one owns that land. Because Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Office of Real Property, can't confirm anyone owns that land. And you, Layla Kumar Nairaj, don't have documentation. So he's screaming from Layla Kumar Nairaj. I don't know what that is. Why is someone screaming at me? All I'm doing is walking my dog. This is who Shannon Myers with, you bald-headed criminal, Todd Baxter. Screaming here. I don't know. I come in and take my little guy in and go back in the rest. I go over there and talk to them. They already called the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter. And here you are. Here you are at my front door, Todd Baxter. Todd Baxter's employees are at my front door. Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Heinrich Himmler and Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Herman Gehring are at my front door demanding my little guy. Why do you have Herman and Heinrich at my front door, bald-headed criminal Todd Baxter, demanding my little guy when all I'm doing is walking my little guy same year for 4,000 times? And Todd, is your armband really tight around you like Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Joseph Goebbels? Because this guy here is about 5'3" and he looks like a Penfield High School student. Kick the shit out of him. But is your armband really tight like Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Joseph Goebbels? I mean, is that a problem when it gets tight? You have to adjust it there at the office. Does it constrict the blood flow to your bald head? Your armband there when you're at the sheriff's office is really what I want to know. So now I will continue to send you documentation. I'm demanding information from you, Todd Baxter, such as how much did you expend to buy this camera? That's your camera called the surveillance device right there. You bought that and fixed it 2025 Penfield Road. Isn't that right, Ellie Roth? I will tell the United States Department of Justice, the employees of the United States Department of Justice, that you, Todd Baxter, and your $132,599 salary expended taxpayer dollars to buy this camera and fix it to this building after these two psychopaths, Nairaj Shah, went to your office about me walking through the parking lot but not anybody else. It's a sick lunatic fringe from you, Todd Baxter. I don't know how the hell you're in office. I've never heard Miranda. What do you think about that, Sandra Dorley? What do you think about that at the district attorney's office? What do you think about the fact that I've never heard Miranda? King of New York, A number one, Sandra Dorling, your $203,089 salary. Amanda Bowling for $108,338. What are you? You're the first six-figure lawyer at the district attorney's office. Amanda Bowling, what do you think about the fact that I've never heard Miranda? Raymond Benitez, $117,798. What do you, Raymond, think about the fact that I've never heard Miranda? Perry Duckles, the number two, the King of New York, A number one, Sandra Dorling, $129,525. Really, Perry? What do you do for $129,525? Are you in charge of the Russia collusion investigation for Sandra Dorley there? So, Perry, for $129,525, Perry, tell me the names of your two employees at the district attorney's office who do not talk. First, before John P. Lomenzo Jr., right here, what is the name of the prosecutor? It says right there. And next, before Paul C. Metzler. Perry, for $129,525. What is the documentation for the case for Christopher Charges for Paul C. Metzler, Penfield Town Court? What is the name of the prosecutor saying? You're refusing. Total silence here from the employees at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office as fanaticism descends upon me. Not one word, not one sound, not one syllable for the employee of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office of King of New York, A number one, Sandra Dorley. They didn't talk in Penfield Town Court. How am I delivered to jail? First, the Monroe County is innocent man when the prosecutor doesn't talk, and next in Livingston County, when the prosecutor doesn't talk, Todd Baxter, what am I doing in Livingston County? You have to answer these questions for the United States Department of Justice. You're going to have to answer what Lee LaRocque is doing in here in a $91,000 salary with a search warrant that's not a search warrant that you, Paula Metzler, typed in Penfield Town Court. Your employees, Todd Baxter, on August 30th, ran across the street at me. One of them follows me up behind my back porch, the hammer I just grabbed. Goes up, I pull away, and that's attempted assault, petty larceny. What are their names? That's another disgusting fact of your Monroe County Sheriff's Office. This employee concocted a felony for me on my back porch. I'm demanding their names. You're refusing to tell me their names. What's the name of your employee, Todd Baxter, that concocted a felony for me? What's the name of your employee at your Jonestown that lied and said I swung a hammer at him on my back porch? And what are they doing here outside my residence on August 30th? Your employees are stalking me, Todd Baxter, on August 30th. You employ stalkers at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Bald-headed, party-switching Todd Baxter, who doesn't know if he's a Republican or a Democrat. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime.